What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Crypto Cheat Sheet. This is our news update segment. My name is Brad. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host Trey. Trey, what's happening?
What's going on, Griff? Been a little while. Glad we got back together. There's been some fun market activity over the past few weeks.
I will say this: the market this show is probably the best it's been. It's kind of nice. A little bit of
Very,
optimism
very
out
true.
there. It's good.
That is absolutely true.
All right, we're going to cover some news. We're going to cover number 17 million Bitcoin. The 17 millionth Bitcoin was mined. We're going to cover Nasdaq and what it's been doing to get involved in the crypto space. We're going to cover some futures. We're going to talk about Binance and how they are just printing money. And then we're going to close with the guy who is trying to dig 7,500 Bitcoins out of a landfill. All right, let's do this. I'm going to transfer over here. The 17 millionth Bitcoin was mined today, I believe. It officially was mined. There's only 21 million, guys. We're getting towards the end. What I really liked about this article was this chart right here. If you can see it in the show notes here. This is inflation. So this blue line is the number of Bitcoins, and then this like yellow orange line is inflation. And so the reality is we're still cranking at like closer to 10% inflation. But over the next, 10, 20, 50 years, you can see there's not going to be any more Bitcoin out there. So supply is going to go down.
Yeah, we hear about a deflationary asset all the time, and I feel like most people probably don't understand what that means. But the fact that our government, the Fed, can print money at will, it makes it an inflationary currency. And so the fact that Bitcoin's hard capped at 21 million, or now over 80% of all Bitcoins that will ever be minted in circulation, that emission schedule is going down significantly. And over the next, what is it, like 120 years, Brad?
I think it's like 2140 or something.
I think that's right. So over the next 122 years, there's only going to be 4 million more Bitcoin ever printed. Pretty crazy to think about.
HODL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's basically what it means, right? Like, at the end of the day, there's only so many that are going to be mined, that are going to be ever printed. So it only, inflation goes down from here, guys. That's basically what it means. There's only 4 million left. So it's pretty cool. So it's crazy to think about because, with the US dollar, who knows? They can, and it's arguably, I guess it's a big experiment, right? Can we print ourselves out of financial crisis? Can we keep doing it? It's all a big experiment.
So far, it's worked pretty well, but
Yeah.
at some point, when you start to realize that, the purchasing power of a dollar continues to decline every time they do that, it's not quite as good of a deal as, hey, I get to make a little more money at work. So
Yeah, it's true. Speaking of current financial systems and markets, Nasdaq is doing a lot, or talking a lot about the crypto space, or kind of getting involved. We've got this article here in the Wall Street Journal. Sounds like I guess the Winklevi are using Nasdaq software to identify fraud on their exchange on Gemini. Thought this was kind of cool. And then also they talked about, I guess their CEO came out and said, we're open to it. We're not afraid to become a crypto exchange if that's, if it matures enough. I think this is just kind of the theme, right? Like everyone who's anyone in finance is talking about getting into crypto, Nasdaq included.
yeah, I mean, when an emerging asset class like Bitcoin comes around and gets added on the futures exchanges, first asset since gold to be added. You see the exponential gains that have been made over the past, 8 to 10 years, 8, 9 years, whatever it is. Like, sure, people who their driving force for getting out of bed in the morning is to make money. They're going to want to get involved in this. And so, I've seen people talking who used to work on Wall Street and or have connections on Wall Street. And it's getting to the point now where some of these, big timers and executives are going and saying, look, if we aren't able to trade cryptos, I'm leaving and going and starting my own fund. And we've seen many cases of that. Tom Lee and Fundstrat being one. Tom Lee used to be JP Morgan's global equities strategist. And now he runs Fundstrat, which they do many things, but they definitely are heavily involved in cryptocurrencies. So, for the Winklevi adding this Nasdaq technology to get rid of market manipulators, I think it's a wise thing. We've heard about spoofy and all these people wash selling, and we saw that tweet a couple of years ago of there's lies, damn lies, and then Chinese Bitcoin exchange volumes. And so it's, honestly, it's been the wild, wild west, and it continues to be until regulation comes. And what the Nasdaq chief said is, as this gets regulated and there's a little more regulatory clarity around it, absolutely we'll trade it. They don't care what
they're going to make money regardless.
Exactly right. They don't care if it's rocks. As long as you're willing to pay a fee to trade them, they'll list them. They don't care. So, they don't want to run afoul of the regulators, and rightfully so. It's an established business. They don't need to take those chances. So they're going to wait until regulations are more clear, and then they'll add all these assets and let people trade on their exchanges.
But are those rocks on the blockchain?
These days you put anything on the blockchain. It's exactly right. Buzzwords.
That's right. I guess the other news yesterday, the CBOE, who is currently already involved in crypto with the Bitcoin futures, they said they had their highest ever futures volume yesterday. I guess that was on the dump. What do you make of that?
Well, one thing, if you're getting into trading, the more you read about it and learn about it, you find out that the big players are buying when everyone else is selling. And that's the only way they can fill large positions is, everyone's dumping. So, hey, we'll buy. There's got to be a transactor on both sides. And if everyone's selling, then it's easier for them to be the buyer. So, it was a large red candle, and I don't have the chart in front of me, but it was the highest volume ever. And so to the uneducated trader or investor, they're going to look at that and be like, man, look at all that selling. The price is going down. But what you're missing behind the scenes there is, yes, there was a massive amount of selling, but the price barely moved. And that large a volume, there was some very, very heavy buying going on during that time period, during the dump. So, price dropped from about 9,600 to 8,800, which significant move in most markets, not that significant in the Bitcoin and crypto markets. And then today we bounced right back. So, we'll hit on it more when we get into the market section, but, what we're seeing right now is a pretty clean and strong bottom being built. And so these folks are going to try and load up as much as they can if they anticipate what the chart is kind of telling us that this is where it's going. So, there's not heavy leverage on those, and there's leverage requirements that are tough to be met. So people have kind of slowly dipped their toes in, especially institutional investors. They needed these they needed these tools to be able to get into the space. CBOE and CME are regulated exchanges. There's no worry there's not counterparty risk in that transaction. And so by them being able to play in this, they weren't going to jump in full bore and just go after it. So they've played around for 4 months now. And as we've gotten into the 5th month, in these charts, you'll see the volume is starting to ramp up significantly in the futures market.
I'm really bummed because the ad changed on this website. For a minute there, the ad where this gambling ad is right now, It was a PayPal ad. I swear to God, it was PayPal advertising on CoinDesk. That was great.
Which another funny thing is the PayPal CEO came out the other day and said
yeah.
Bitcoin's a failed experiment. And it's shocking.
If only we had that in the lineup, that'd have been the best segue ever.
Yeah, the mailman says that email is a failed experiment. That's basically what that is.
Oh man. Speaking of volume, I think we can move on to Binance here. I mean, these guys are killing it.
Yep.
Saw a tweet come out from Crypto Manran, who is on CNBC. He's got this tweet here. It says Deutsche Bank, 2,434 branches, 98,720 employees, 148 years in business. Their U.S. dollar profit in the first quarter, $146 million. Binance, 0 branches, 300 employees, 1 year in business, $200 million in first quarter profit, which is nuts.
It is, and it's where everyone wants to play right now. I mean, crypto is the first asset class that retail investors can get into before institutional investors. And so, the numbers, while they are insane and how believable they are with, volume washing and all that, maybe not, I don't know. But I do know that they make fees regardless. And so it's, Bitmain as a miner manufacturer made $4 billion last year. So an exchange making what extrapolates out to 800 million in a year, a popular exchange, makes a lot of sense. It's,
as far as altcoin goes, Binance is top dog right now, volume wise, for sure.
Absolutely. It's really not even close either. Now that Polo's fallen off and Trex didn't open up new users for a long time. So, the other thing with that is, a lot of these people that are new to trading don't know anything about it. And when you're market buying and market selling, which is what most of them do, you're paying more in fees because you're paying maker taker fees. So, these people bounce from position to position. They're just basically milking their balance, and Binance is reaping the rewards. So it's a crazy number, especially when you put it up next to Deutsche Bank like that. But it does make sense. I mean, it's the hot asset class right now, and everyone wants a piece of it.
Oh, yeah. And pro tip on Binance, if you can go into settings, and if you have BNB, the Binance coin, you can pay your fees with Binance coin, and it's 50% off. So they give you a deal if you use their coin to pay your fees. So you should do that if you're trading on Binance.
Another project that probably doesn't need a blockchain, but they're finding a roundabout way to use the token.
I don't even know if that profit includes what they're making on that coin, but I'm sure that's absurd.
Yes.
All right. Let's go to our last story here, which is the guy, I don't know his name, James Howells from Newport, Wales. This is the guy that threw away his computer that he had mined 7,500 Bitcoin on, and now he is plotting to dig up 4 years of trash and dig up and find his hard drive and get those coins off of the hard drive and then put all of the trash back. Does this guy even deserve these Bitcoins?
So, it's pretty amusing. It's a lot of money at this point.
It really is.
I don't blame him. But the first time we heard about this guy was back in 2013 when it ran up to $1,200. And, that was almost $10 million at the time. It's like, man, it sucks. I threw that computer away. No chance I'll buy it. Well, the story goes, even back then, he tried to go dig for his computer in the landfill, and they told him no. So he tried to raise capital to go buy the landfill and be able to dig it up himself, and apparently couldn't come to an agreement there. Bitcoin went in the tank in 2014, 2015, didn't think about it. Well, now Bitcoin hit 20K, and those 7,500 were all of a sudden worth $150 million. And then on top of that, you got the Bcash airdrop and the Bitcoin Gold airdrop and all this stuff. And so not only does he have 7,500 Bitcoins on there, he has 7,500 of every Bitcoin airdrop there's been. And it turns out to be a lot of money. I know Bitcoin isn't 20K anymore, but even at current prices, they estimate it at $80 million. And, I read a lot about this today, and there's some people who understand, hardware better than I do. And they were basically saying, look, if that laptop has been in a landfill for 4 or 5 years, the components, you're not going to be able to pull those off anyway. The moisture and everything else would have ruined everything beyond repair. So it's like, for $150 million, would I give it a go? Yes, I would. But is he going to recover it? Maybe. That's a real shot in the dark. And even if he recovers it or finds the computer, whether he's going to be able to get the private keys off, that's a completely other scenario. I saw someone else talking today, and they're like, this guy probably had some girl, or he was like, 7,500 Bitcoins. And so now he's created the story. He's got to follow through on so many people have been like, well, if you got it, you got to go find it. So, but this is just a further story. They estimated the number of Bitcoins based on the fact that they haven't moved or done any kind of transactions, inputs or outputs out of the wallet in X amount of years at 4 million Bitcoins that are basically gone. So we were talking earlier about that 21 million Bitcoin number. It might actually be 17 million or lower, and that makes it even more scarce, which another reason to hold your Bitcoins. So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Would you go dig through a landfill for a couple of years if you had $80 million prize potentially there?
I mean, the way I feel about this guy is I'm like, look, man, you obviously didn't care about Bitcoin enough to even try to keep the 7,500. Like, it's kind of, I guess I kind of empathize with him a little bit, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, yeah, it sucks, dude. Like, sorry, but you lose. You don't deserve them at this point. You threw away the computer that had them all on there. Like, you intentionally threw it away.
You could have easily written down your private key.
Yeah, it's your own fault.
All you had to do is write down your private key, and you can recover them at any point.
Yeah, tough break. Yeah, it sucks. Sucks that it's worth so much money now, but really it's worth nothing because you don't have it. You threw it away. It would be like if you took your own. It'd be like if you took money and threw it away, or like you just sold your stock or whatever. Like, yeah, it went up, but you don't have it anymore. So tough break, dude.
It creates a nice headline, but
it does.
I think that's about it. I don't think he's recovering them, and even if he does, I'm with you. I don't know that he necessarily deserves them. And word on the street is he's actually a heavy advocate for Bcash. So yeah, I definitely don't think he deserves them.
Yeah, of course. It's pretty intense though. So they said to even try to do it, they've got to dig up like 4 years of trash.
God,
they said it would cost basically they've budgeted $5 million to do that project, to dig it up, hopefully find it, and then put everything back like it was. It would cost 5 million euros or whatever this is, wherever he lives.
Somewhere in England, I think. Yeah. It's
British pounds, maybe.
Yeah. Again, that whatever the process is to go through it, even if you find it, they're not necessarily recoverable, which makes it.
That would actually, man. Could you imagine? You put $5 million into getting your computer, and you find it, and then you can't recover anything off the hard drive.
It's dead at that point.
At least and it's not. It's not just like buried out there somewhere. But man, I don't know.
The more I think about that, if I knew I had $80 million sitting somewhere, and if I just went and spent some time digging, I might find it. I'd probably go through the effort.
I'd try to get it. I don't blame him, but he doesn't deserve them.
No.
So. All right, well, we're coming up on time here. I'm glad to be back. It's been a few weeks, back in the zone here. Got through tax season. Got through just a tough little bear run there, and we're back. So visit our website, thecryptocheatsheet.com. Follow us on Twitter @thecryptocs. Join us on Telegram. Our room we're up to like 55 people in the Telegram chat now. It's pretty active. And then support our partner in crime, moonware.com, MEWNWEAR.com. Trey, see you, dude.
See you, Gravy.